welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and I am joined by just two people this week. Chris cannot be here, which is a shame because he's played lots of Labo, but someone who hasn't played Labo, the Iron Maiden to my Megadeth, it's Adam Carroll.
That's really good. How are you?
Is it? Is that alright? I don't know if that plays these days.
It worked. I didn't expect it. It worked. It was good.
Okay, well, I'm going to try a different tactic to introduce this next gentleman. The Kirby to my Mario, it's Gary Bailey.
Yeah, I'll take that. Why not? It's not that
Will
bad.
you? Because it was supposed to be no, it was supposed to be pretty bad. So, how are you guys?
People
all right?
love Kirby, so...
Do they? Does
don't.
anyone actually love
You
No,
don't.
but does anyone love Kirby? Like, does anyone sit there and go, do you know who my favourite one is? It's Kirby.
I didn't say it was his favourite, but people still love him.
I have to be honest, I have a friend back home who's like, I think his son is like 6 or 7 now. Favourite of all time, Kirby. Hands down. Like, everything Kirby comes out with, loves it.
He's lying. He's lying. It's not possible. It's not possible for someone to say. Do you know one of the, there's those bands that you like, but you recognise that no matter what, there's no one alive who's ever gone, do you know who my favourite band are? And it's that band. That's Kirby. There's nothing wrong with Kirby. Kirby's fine, but hey, prove me wrong. With a different story, not the one that was just a lie. It's I'm going to say this right up front, guys, and I think everyone can agree on this. God of War's out. We're going to talk some more God of War this week, but before we do, there is another game that's come out recently, but there isn't a whole lot happening really at the moment. It's going to be, I think, a quiet few weeks because leading up to E3, which we'll do something E3 wise. There's not a huge amount of games coming out. We've got Labo, which again I haven't played. I don't know. Have you, Adam? Before we move on,
haven't gone. I'm not going to buy it if I'm honest. Like,
I came close. If it were £10 cheaper, I would have pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
it was that close. But part of me, I don't think my kids will be into it. They're too old now. Part of me, I don't have any more room in my home. And the third part is, as I've mentioned... Actually, have I mentioned I've got a puppy? I can't remember. I've got a puppy.
That's news to me.
Is it? I don't remember mentioning it. But cardboard, I don't think it would last very long with their piranha teeth. So
yeah.
I kind of want to... The more I see of it, the more I want to buy it. But I haven't.
I think that's just the Nintendo thing. Like, because this is the first kind of hype Nintendo product that's come out, and I'm literally just kind of going, I don't need it, I don't want it. I've bought every one of these things, but Labo, it has to go away. Like, it just
feels like a bridge too far, does it?
I just know I'll buy it, I'll build it, it'll go in the corner. That's it. That is straight up what it is.
There is actually, I didn't put this in news, but there is actually a cool thing. I think it's UPS. Have you seen the clip? Mm-mm. If I say UPS, does it ring any bells to anyone?
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No? Well, you've seen it, have you? Have you seen the UPS?
I haven't seen the clip, but I thought you were like, do you know UPS? And I was like, of course I know UPS.
So one of the things... Well, yeah, okay, fair point. No, one of the things some people have mentioned is like you've just said, where am I going to put it? So UPS have gone like, well, hey, since we're a specialist in delivering cardboard, they've made a cardboard box that has got like loads of little bits inside of it that you can store all your Labo cardboard. So they've made like a cardboard briefcase with bits inside of it that... You know what I mean? Like the piano slots into a slot. It's quite cool. But anyway, that's not news.
Very, very quickly,
there
though, right? Before you go on, I did watch an unboxing of Labo, and it is
in itself is kind of interesting. An unboxing of cardboard,
exactly. But fuck it, like you kind of think, oh yeah, because I watch a lot of unboxings. I do enjoy it, but the Labo was very underwhelming because it literally is cardboard within cardboard. That is all it is.
Yep. Listen, let's talk about some games we have played. I've played a very small bit of this, and I will explain why. But Gary has reviewed a game called The Swords of Ditto. Now, Gaz, what is it, first of all? To the people who don't read the website and just listen to the podcast, what is Swords of Ditto? Sorry, The Swords of Ditto.
It's like the old 2D Zelda games, but with a roguelike twist.
Right, go on.
But it's very pretty.
It's lovely looking.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. It reminded me of Adventure Time. Like that really sort of colourful artwork. But it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's got some issues, but
is it though?
Yeah, it is.
But is it, Gary?
Yeah, I give it an 8. I give it an 8 for a reason.
But is it good though, Gaz?
I feel like you wanted me to say something here. Like you're
Adam Cook is clearly
directing
not a fan.
this somehow, and I'm not getting the hint.
Where do we start with this? I feel like this is the kind of game I should love, and that Adam Carroll here should love.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's something about it, and so I feel like I like the setup. The setup is basically you're the Sword of Ditto, and the reason it's called Swords of Ditto is because every time you die, if you've got 3 days to complete the mission, I think
4.
It was 4 days. So you get 4 days to complete the mission. There's like an evil witch, that keeps making the world worse, and it's a cycle that repeats itself. And a bit like Zelda, every time you sort of wake up on the beach as a new Link almost, and it's that exact thing. You go back to a graveyard where your last one died. You get the sword, blah blah blah. I felt like the setup was great. I feel like it looks great. I like the writing. It feels different. It feels unique. I like the movement. I like the fact it seems a bit like, again, I haven't played enough of it to know, but it feels like there could almost be kind of that Metroidvania thing of like new items to help you progress further. But the thing I didn't like, and that I'm wondering if, Gaz, you can tell me if it improves, I felt like the combat was extremely mashy. And at the same time as that, you're progressing your level up as you play more of it, and the enemies are all different levels, but I never felt like any other... I felt like there was kind of one tactic, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't change that. It's, to be fair, it's kind of like the old 2D Zeldas in that respect, because, I mean, they were pretty much the same combat. You know, it was you had one slash, and then you had, like, your spin attack, that kind of thing.
Charge,
And then the rest of the combat is down to the toys that you get. You know, so...
Okay, so maybe... Was I not... Because, again, I will preface this, my personal opinion here, by saying the fact that I, as you can imagine, like, the puppy thing, I've joked about it, but, like, it is meaning I'm getting a lot less sleep. Like, the days off I have, the lay-in is now gone, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of running on the minimum you can get without dying. And I was tired when I played it. Like, the puppy was asleep. I was like, I want to play something. I really like the look of this. I'm going to have a go. So I had, like, an hour. And I was not confused. I just felt like there was, because it's even got it really. I can't emphasize enough how Zelda-y this looks. Like if you take what was the most recent 3DS one, A Link Between Worlds? Yeah. How they kind of took that original game and made it kind of even more vibrant and colourful and kind of cartoony, didn't they? And this does have that, doesn't it, Gaz?
Yeah, definitely. But I suppose it's kind of a bit like Wind Waker. You know, like that art style, I suppose. You know, it's a little bit more almost flat colour. You know, so it's like a drawing, basically, rather than like a moving painting as something, I suppose, something like Okami looks like. But
because there seems like a lot to do here. Like because it's all based. It seems to be based. Again, you'll know better than I, but it seems to be based around like a kind of kids' adventure, in that, like, there's toy shops where you can buy, well, literally toys, like, you know, like a gun, but it's not actually a gun. It's a what is it? It's like it's kind of like a dart gun, I suppose like a Nerf gun style thing. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, Nerf gun. And then there's like a sticker book and stickers you can collect. But because explain to me, and obviously the people who are listening, and Adam obviously as well, explain to me the persistence, because when you die, it's your next Sword of Ditto, your next character, which they're all random, aren't they? But you keep something, right? You keep your level.
Yeah, you keep your level. That's kind of it. You mean you keep
Don't
like
you keep your toys?
You keep the starting toys, so the little dart gun, the it's gone out of my head.
Your torch. You keep
the torch, and there's like it's like a kazoo kind of thing that it's like
the fast travel.
Yeah. You keep them, but then everything else you lose and you have to get again. It kind of randomizes it a little bit as well, because although you can buy like different toys, you have like the toy dungeons as well. So like when you start out, obviously your main thing is to eventually be powerful enough to fight Momo. And the way you do that is you've got to find these anchors in the world, which basically equate to a boss in a dungeon.
Right.
There's 2 of them, And if you do that, it basically makes the fight easier. It's a bit like Breath of the Wild. You know, you take down the divine beasts to make Ganon an easier fight. You know, you can, if you want, you can go straight to Momo and have a fight, and you'll probably die.
I suppose, because you do that in your first kind of tutorial life. That's what you do, isn't it? Because that's how that's literally how it teaches you. You're not shit yet, son.
Yeah. And like I said, because you keep your level, and you don't have like your sword isn't weaker or anything like that. So you know, you can still go in and you can fight in that final battle, but you've still got to go through like the final dungeon, which is not easy. It throws quite a lot.
How does the 4 days thing work? Because I did get, like, there seems to be a day-night cycle, literally, like, next day, but I was also told there was some sort of currency you can get that it sort of hints that you can do something with this currency to slow time or reverse time. And so I found, like, a shrine or something where I had one of these coins, or I think, was it a coin? I can't remember. And I gave it in. Token, yeah, and I gave a token in, but I don't think anything happened.
No, what it does, was it one of, like, the fish statues, basically?
Yes.
Yeah, and when you need something like 5 tokens, I think it was, and that'll fill up there's little lights that go around it.
Okay.
Once you do that, then it basically goes, okay, now you can, well, when you defeat enemies, they'll start dropping these other coins. Once you've got enough of these coins, you can go up to these shrines and you can ask for more time. And basically rewinds for you.
Okay.
But unlike like Majora's Mask, where whenever you went back,
what I thought it.
Yeah, but rather than sort of actually starting again from scratch, like you did with Majora's Mask, you're just rewinding time, but you're keeping everything that you've done. So it literally is like buying you more time so you can do more in the world, you can find more of the toys, you can do more of the side quests and things like that.
Okay.
You can also ask for more life as well. So you get it extends your life. So there is a bit of that, but it's one of those games that you don't see this straight away. It's gonna take you a few playthroughs.
Yeah.
Because
I felt like I was probably one more. I don't want to say run, but run. But I felt like I was probably one run away from it clicking. I felt like I genuinely was interrupted. I had to stop. It was I just died and I was about to have another run. I was like, I've got to put this down.
Yeah.
But I do think it's very interesting. It's an interesting game, certainly a unique feeling game. You know.
Yeah, it's one of those games that like you start off and you're like, oh, this is cool, but. I don't know if you were like me when it was like, oh, you've got a time limit. I was like, ugh.
I don't like time limits in games, generally speaking. But, I don't think anyone does, actually.
But I do like it. Does make jokes about that.
Yeah, but see, that's also a pet hate of mine. It's like in The Witcher where they take the piss out of. Is it an escort mission or a fetch quest, or it might be both? They take the piss out of it, but then you have to do it. So if you're going to take the piss out of something, it's like saying, oh. You know, it's kind of like the Wayne's World joke of no Stairway to Heaven, but then they actually play Stairway to Heaven. You know what I mean? They don't do that because you don't do the joke. I think you should do the joke because it is daft that there's certain tropes that we still do, even though nobody seems to enjoy them. However, don't then do the thing you're taking the mickey out of.
I think it kind of fits just purely because of the fact that you can rewind the time and you can.
Okay.
You can effectively just keep playing, you know, but I see what you're getting at there.
I think I've seen like a good few screenshots of this, and I always feel that if I didn't see the line Zelda-like within the sentence of every single review, I would be probably more interested because I'm bogged down by these kind of games coming out with that line. And I know it's kind of like they are taking influence from it, but like what is different? Like what is, because they always go for that, like, the Link Between Worlds or like, kind of like Link's Awakening and stuff style of Zelda in these newer kind of versions. And I'm just, like, for me, I'll just play a Zelda game. Do you know what I mean? The last game that came out for me personally that I felt did something that took Zelda influence and actually did something a bit different, believe it or not, was Darksiders 2. I felt like...
See, but the thing is I get what you're saying, but until Breath of the Wild, I think I did say this on a podcast, so it won't hurt to remind people that I'm the unpopular one. I genuinely prefer the 2D top-down Zeldas to the 3D ones until, I don't get me wrong, Ocarina was brilliant. I've actually never played Majora's Mask. It's one I will one day, exactly, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, let's put it this way, if I've played it, I don't remember playing it. But I always preferred those top-down ones, and I feel like that kind of game has nearly gone. Yeah. And so when they released the 3DS Link Between Worlds, that was like, this is probably my new favourite Zelda. Like it was, because I'm talking. Do you remember what was the Game Boy one, the black and white one?
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, which was one of my favourite Zeldas of all time. I think that game is, it's majestic, and the idea that you're playing it on a fucking Game Boy.
Yeah,
it's to this day I still wonder, did that really happen? That game was that good on a Game Boy. So then there's the SNES one, like we obviously know, and then they did the 3DS one. But so I would say probably those were my three favourite Zeldas.
Did you ever play Minish Cap?
Yes, but I can't remember it. So, but the idea of when I see this game, I'm like, I just see this game, and it's like, this looks like that. I haven't played enough to judge it. Gary's the guy to say, is it that kind of game? Because I don't think it's quite that kind. No, it's definitely got its roots in it.
Yeah, it's I forget. I think I said something akin to that in the review, that it's like a love letter to that kind of thing. But it only goes so far to be in that game. Yeah. Then
is it long? Because I felt like I got to the next day pretty quick, and
yeah, it's one of those where the length of the game is kind of dependent on how you look at it, because it's a multiple playthrough. It's like Rogue Legacy.
That was a great game.
It's like same sort of thing, but yeah, that's bloody brilliant game. I love that game. But it's that kind of thing where it's...
Aren't they making another one? Did I imagine that? No, the developer made something else.
Don't tease me like that, Adam.
Hang on, you keep talking. I'm going to look it up. They're making something. I'm sure they are.
If this is wrong now,
that game was free, by the way. Remember that? That game was a PS Plus game.
Yes, it was.
Celador Games. I'm sure Celador Games put another game out. Sorry, carry on. I will look this up.
Full Metal Furies. I think that was them.
That doesn't ring a bell.
That was. It came out not that long ago, but I don't remember seeing an awful lot about it.
Well, I mean, apparently they made a game called Don't Shit Your Pants.
I've heard of that.
Yes, so have I. I didn't know they made it.
Game Villainous. Of the year.
I have one day, my first quantum translocator, Bullet, or that's not how you spell Odyssey. Odyssey? Band of Bears, Tribal Tallies. They made a lot of games. Q, the game. Yeah, Full Metal Furies, 2018, January 19th. I'm kind of surprised I didn't know this game is out, because I really like Rogue Legacy.
Yep, I did. Huh. I need a new one. That was very good. But that, going back to that's kind of how I judged the length of this game, because it took me, I want to say about 6 hours to get to the first time I defeated Momo.
See, I'm all for that. That sounds like a great length to me.
But you can, once you... I mean, I suppose... I don't know if this is technically a spoiler or not, but you can keep...
New Game Plus.
You can keep playing, yeah. So it's like, whenever you are defeated, obviously, you then go back to the graveyard and you pick up the sword. If you win, you go back to the statue that you see at the very beginning. So it's like you won this one, so the sword is at the statue rather than on a grave. So it kind of makes it feel a little bit... Because the whole idea is, no matter what, you'll defeat Momo, but she'll still come back in 100 years.
So it is Zelda, and it is Link and Ganondorf, then. Yeah. It kind of is.
I suppose it is. I didn't...
Because that is literally what you've just said. Yeah. What you've just said is literally Zelda, isn't it? 100 years, Ganon rising, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, but yeah, I genuinely hadn't put that together until right now.
I think Adam will like this. I think
really.
I genuinely think, honestly, I can't be 100% sure, but it is. I was genuinely that tired when I played. Let's put it this way: so I started playing it and I paused it. So Garrett, you wake up on the beach, right? And there's the dung beetle thing that talks to you, the ghost dung beetle, your guy,
Cuckoo,
and he's talking to you. Oh, what's he called?
Cuckoo. I think that's okay.
well, he appears and he says, "Oh God," and he says something funny right away, and I had to pause it there for 45 minutes, and I went off and had to do dog things, and then I came back and I unpaused it, got 2 more dialogue lines, and I paused it for another half an hour, and then after that I finally got to play it for an hour and a half. So I was so tired by the time I finished playing an hour and a half. I genuinely feel like I am, like, whatever I've said, I think there is some validity to some of the things I've said, but like, I don't not buy this because of what I've said. Do buy it because of what Gary said, if you know what I mean. Like, and read his review because, you know, contrary to how we jest about Gary and his bad opinions, he's actually very good. He's actually very good. Which, do you know what? Hang on. I've got a link here, right? Again, we went behind the curtain the other week. I'm going to actually pull the curtains off the rail, throw them on the floor, set them on fire. I've got a link here. Do you know what else is what else is very good?
Sandwiches.
That's true, but something that's like very good, like fucking very good.
Pizza.
A sandwich that's made by somebody else.
Ooh, good check.
God of War.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my next thought.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you both a question. I would just look a simple answer before we get into it. Obviously, I finished it, and I'm still. Actually, I'm actually still. I was going to say I'm still playing it. I don't think I've touched it in a week. I want to. Haven't had a chance. And even Swords. I've played nothing, by the way. Genuinely, Swords of Ditto. I couldn't talk about last week. I played fuck all. I'm happy, but I'm happy because I've got loads of Marvel movies to talk about, which is going to be in the Patreon section. I've got 4 Marvel movies to talk about
impressive.
in the Patreon section. I've spent my week being a movie critic, not a games media critic person type thing. Anyway, the question I'm slowly getting to. Adam Carroll, how many hours have you now put into God of War?
Do you know what? It's so funny you say that because I wish I knew. Because it doesn't feel...
So do I.
It doesn't feel... I have put in hours, but it doesn't feel long, and I think that's saying something good about the game itself.
Don't you wish there were... Well, hang on, I'll come back to it. But no, I'll forget. Don't you wish there was an hour counter in this game somewhere?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Same.
Yes.
Same. And I don't know why, because it absolutely doesn't matter to me. I know I'll have hit 35 to 40. I don't really care, but for some reason, I want to know. Gary Bailey, how many hours roughly would you say you've now put into it?
I think about 10.
Oh, wow, okay, because you've gone from 2 to 10 then.
Yeah, I managed
guys?
to just squeeze in a few sessions this week.
I'm not. Again, it's difficult, and I'll go back to what I said when I was first talking about this game when the embargo lifted. Like, it's quite hard to say how far you are into this game because it's so story based. But like Mikhail, our news editor, he's been playing it as well, actually since pre-release, and he keeps texting saying, "I've got to." And he's obviously knows Chris and I have finished it, so he's texting us both saying, "I've got to this point," and he's being specific. Oh, I must be nearly there. And the first time we were like, you're about a third of the way. And he's like, fuck off. And then, like, so 4 days later, he comes back and goes, "Oh, I reckon I've nearly finished it." And I went, "No, probably about halfway." It's been quite enjoyable watching him think he's nearly finished it. And he's nowhere near finished it. Guys, over to you. Have at it. What do you think now you've played more?
Gary, I think you go first because I have finished it. So
Well,
I don't want to go.
It's where I'm at.
I don't want to go too far.
It's hard for me to say even without spoiling for people who are listening. But
have you? Hang on. Have you climbed the lift in the mountain yet?
yes, that was.
So you have had that boss fight, which we won't say what it is, because I've seen people just straight up spoiling that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spoil that for anyone. But I can only say, because fucking hell.
So, do you remember when I said about the one thing Chris was asking was like, the thing Chris and I were discussing is the huge boss battles from the previous games. At the moment, they didn't feel like that. Mm-hmm. That moment's like, oh, okay, okay, that's fine. That's cool.
Absolutely.
So how far past that are you, just so we know
Not
roughly?
An awful lot.
Okay.
I
mean, this is terrible for listeners because but you'll know. If you've played enough of it, you'll know.
Yeah, it's like I've done... I suppose the end of that section, if that makes any sense, and just kind of start...
That whole section is amazing.
Yeah, I'll just kind of start
from the bottom floor to the top.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely magnificent.
Okay. There are a few games that can do basically the equivalent of, we're loading, so we're going to hold you in a place while you fight off waves of enemy, and you're like, that's fine.
Yep.
That's fine, I absolutely don't mind.
Yeah, no, it's...
Massively.
Yeah. I can't really speak highly enough of this game, and I know I'm only scratching the surface. So
you're about a third of the way.
I thought that would be about right.
Because that's exactly where Mikhail was when he goes, "Oh, I must be nearly finished." Like, no, mate.
I think, to be fair, if I hadn't sort of known beforehand that it was like a 30-hour game, I might have thought, okay, we're getting there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it kind of in my head was like, I think I'm around 10 hours. So, yeah, sort of a quarter to a third of the way through made sense.
And like, how are you finding the story so far? Like, are you like invested or like?
Yeah, 100%.
You're into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well into it. I even love all the little side quest stories as well.
Same.
There's so much cool stuff in it. I mean, like just the smallest stories. You're like, oh, but there's still quite a lot of heart in them. Yeah, I can't say too much. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's.
No, but they put so much effort into so much non-essential stuff.
Yeah, and
like, do you know how this is? Okay, this isn't a spoiler, but this is something I don't think I've mentioned and I've not heard mentioned. Do you know how in games you're like in this you're in the boat with Atreus and there's a conversation happening, and you know how sometimes it feels like, oh, hang on, they got the pacing wrong because the dialogue's not finished yet and I'm where I want to be. So in this, you'll pull up to a shore and you can get out of the boat and they'll say like, oh, this is a conversation for another time. And they do pick it up later. You know, like Kratos literally says, I think he says boat time is story time, boy.
Yeah.
But I found myself stopping by the shore and wanting to just sit and listen to the conversation finish.
Oh, I did that so many times. I was just like, no, I want to know what happens in this story.
I want to know.
Or I just want like Kratos' reaction to something, you know, or Atreus' reaction, you know, you just, I need to hear the end of this. So I was just sat there, the little circle icon there telling me I can get out any time. I'm like, no, I'm fine here, thanks. Give me a minute.
Adam.
So I finished this at the weekend, and it's really hard to not spoil this game in particular, because it has definitely two, more than likely three, of probably my favourite video game moments of all time. Ever. Like, in the one game. Like, that is such an achievement. One of the moments you do know, Adam, we discussed. And like, obviously for anyone we did I text you straight away. I was like,
of course, sorry,
this and this
happened.
Yeah,
sorry. Yes.
Blew my mind, right? But probably, if I'm honest, I said this last week, the thing that's top of the list for me in God of War, and I don't know how much it's been said, how that game is directed.
Yep.
Never.
No, that's what I feel, same.
Never have I knew what directing meant, and I knew how it works in video games as such. Like, I don't know how it's created, but as a person who plays games, who loves games, I know what it means. God of War does it in like Oscar-winning material. Like, that is literally what happens here. For anyone that's finished the game, I can just say the secret ending, if you have got that secret ending, blew my mind. Like, in terms of what the camera does in a 2-second moment. There's so much of the camera that goes around, like it just circles around Kratos and stuff and captures all the emotion and the scenery, and you're just sitting there going, how the fuck do you make games like this? How does it happen? Like, how do you create it? I think the story...
There's actually... Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's actually really... I don't know if you've heard it. There's a really good interview. Corey Barlog sat down with Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bomb, and they just chatted for like 45 minutes. And it sounds actually like there were many points along the sort of 5-year journey that he did have resistance. There's this one story... I don't want to literally parrot them, so go listen to the interview. But he literally says there are bits at the end of the project where they come up to him and different people in different departments and like, yeah, you know, when you said we were going to do that, we really didn't think it was going to work, but we're so glad, you know, so happy it did. You know, like they believed in him, but even then they were like, but like he probably doesn't seem like the kind of guy that will stand there and go, yeah, man, this is all me. Because, of course, it's not all him. Of course, it's not. He's got a team. But his vision... I don't want to just literally coat him off here, but like the vision to be strong enough to make this game how it ended up, you know?
Yeah.
I just think, like, because I have watched, like, a load of interviews since I finished the game and, like, gone into, like, people's theories about the story and stuff. And I'll be honest, like, I can feel the passion he had for the game. Like,
yeah,
he is so proud of what him and his team have created, and rightfully so, because it just, like, do you know when you play a video game and you kind of you see the hype beforehand? Like, before I played it, I saw all the 10s. Like, Adam, you and Chris had it before all reviews came out, obviously, but I do remember you telling me, yeah, this is probably a 10 out of 10 game, and I was like, fuck, alright, amazing. I don't think we really felt that God of War was going to be as received as it was. I don't know if we were mentally prepared, because people don't have an attachment to Kratos. They don't have an attachment to God of War. I don't have an attachment, but I enjoyed the games. I just had fun playing them. I thought they were really big and just like mad and just off the wall.
Right.
For this, I was kind of going, okay, because we came out of Hellblade and stuff, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And there's actually, speaking of interviews, there's a very funny interview where he's talking to the GameSpot guys, explaining just the ending. So obviously, only watch it if you finish the game. But he's talking about seeing the development of Hellblade coming into place and watching like video diaries and stuff. And he was just like, how the fuck are they getting there before us? He makes a joke. He makes a joke saying that he feels that like their studio was bugged and stuff, because there were so many similar ideas coming into place. And it's crazy interesting. But not only the directing, but it's just, I know you have the father-son relationship there, right? And that is like another element. But it's kind of just, I've never once disliked anything any of the characters have said. Like, this game, every character in this game is brilliant. Like, and there's not many games I can say that about. Like, I think the one other game would be probably like Metal Gear Solid, where I just love every character, you know? But this is like, it's a complete journey, and the emotional attachment that's within these two characters is crazy, but just everyone else. However, I will have to say, there is very, very slight criticisms, because I know I can praise this game like 10 out of 10. It's amazing. There is just a few things, very small things, that I wonder on reflection, Adam, if you maybe kind of went, yeah, I did see that. For example, for a game that's so polished, so unbelievably perfect as you're playing throughout it, why is there an element of when Kratos kicks a chain, he automatically climbs down it, whereas that I'm just kicking it down? Just to be kicked down.
I mean, I will say that is, I agree for what it's worth, but that is, how to put this? That is like that is such a minuscule thing. Like it is tiny, but I totally get what you're saying, because you find it's kind of the Metroidvania thing. You found the way back down to give you the shortcut up, but it's like in Dark Souls kicking a ladder down. You kick the ladder down so that if you die, you can get back up. I think it might be more a case that because in this game, there's never actually a need to go back down. There isn't actually a need to kick the chain off, because it isn't Dark Souls. Like in Dark Souls, you're kicking it off because you know if you die, that is the only way to get. It's persistent. Whereas in this, of course, there's checkpoints. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do, but
I just want.
I think it's a value of how good the game is. That's the,
absolutely, 100%, and that's what I mean. I don't want to just pass off this game as like, because as we've always said, 10 out of 10 does not mean it's perfect.
No, not at all.
But I do want to highlight within our podcast and our team what we do see as like video game people as well, because I feel there is certain pressure that's out there, that when a game comes out to 10 out of 10 and someone plays it, that they don't feel like it's similar with movies. You might watch a critically acclaimed movie and you mightn't have gelled with it. And I think people feel
we'll get there, don't worry.
Yeah. And I think people feel a bit, not scared, but a bit like, I just won't say anything because I feel I'm going to get like absolutely bombarded with like people giving out to me and stuff.
But that's kind of the games industry at the moment. Like I see a lot of this at the moment, and it's like I feel like all the people who go on about, you know how like YouTube commenters are, and we actually have quite nice comments on our videos, but generally speaking, people talk about YouTube commenters as like, don't read the comments. That's where it comes from, isn't it?
Yeah.
But a lot of them are usually telling people their reviews are wrong, their opinions are wrong, and I feel like other critics are doing that now, and I feel like I'm not saying you should be above it, but I feel like we should not be throwing our own under the bus, and we should be having been in a position where like I've been told my score's wrong. It's like, it's not, because it's my score. And like, I'm trying to think, there was a big game this year that Chris and I completely disagreed on, but it's his score. So he's not wrong. Massively. I think it's a game that's not as good, but he's not wrong. It's, you know, it's going back to this whole idea of objective criticism, and like, how can you can't, that's not the way it works.
Definitely.
You know, a review is an opinion. If you want someone to be objective, then what you're asking for is them to write a Wikipedia entry. And I don't want to read that, quite frankly. I don't want to read a Wikipedia entry where someone just sits down and lists X does jump, R1 does attack. Like, I don't need a reviewer to do that, you know?
But
just remember that. Remember, an opinion is all a review is, you know?
Yeah, and I don't want to, like... See, I knew that this week would be a short enough like episode. Like, news is pretty scarce, whatever, and I think there's a lot of God of War chat still to be had. But it bums me out, and I don't want to like look past this, but it bums me out that a game that comes out like this, it is so like, this is why we play video games. This is why we love it, and I feel that the community, there's a section of the community that does not want to be part of that. It just doesn't want to get involved. It doesn't want to share the love. You can turn around and say, I didn't like God of War. That's cool.
Pushka.
Yeah.
But why the absolute fuck do you have to dig in so deep to the point where I've read articles where they're bashing Kratos for what he was in the last few games.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, okay, but why now? Like, why is that such an issue to you right now? Why can't you look at this?
Honestly, to be brutally honest, it's because that's what gets traffic, and traffic is what makes money.
Absolutely,
and that is literally the way it works. And I don't like it, and you won't see much of that, if any, on GodIsAGeek.com unless it's a genuine opinion. There's no one sat here writing an opinion piece that's like, this will get. You know, I remember one of the best traffic pieces we ever did was I think it was one of mine where I wrote about like. I think about Sony. I can't remember the specific piece now. It was a long time ago. It was something about them, how their PR had been just so good, and it got loads of heat and probably one of the, let's say, most hot topics I've ever written about. But it was genuine. I wasn't trying to write an opinion thinking, oh, this will get it, because to be fair, like, if you have to do that, if that's what your boss is telling you, then absolutely fair enough, because like in any job you do as you're told. But we don't have to do that, because that's not how we work. But like, unfortunately, that is that, and a lot of it can be, you know, traditional media in terms of online trying to keep up with YouTube. You know, it's
It's just, I just wanted, like, it just bothers me because of, if you're going to criticize the game, like, criticize the minuscule moments that I currently, like, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the way everyone should talk. Everyone has their opinion. However, this is a video game. This is a work of art. This is a new creation, a kind of a revelation to a character that nobody gave a shit about. Like, nobody really cared. There's a handful of people who could turn around and be like, Kratos is my favourite of all time.
No, I still think, from what I said in that first time when the embargo lifted, I'm still kind of amazed that anyone ever got it greenlit. Someone said,
yeah, exactly.
Hey, do you remember that character that was basically about fucking killing and rage? Bring him back in 2018, and I'm still amazed that got greenlit. But what they've done with him, you know,
big time. Because what I will say is that, like, the small criticism was that thing with the chain, very minuscule, right? I do honestly think there is some very slight pacing issues towards the end, very slightly, because I feel that the areas of battles and stuff become ever so slightly predictable. Where you know this is where a wave are going to jump in a circle and we're just going to have a big fight. That does become very known to me. But what people seem to have a problem with is the character of Kratos now becoming what we wish he was from day one. It's like somebody in reality who has done a lot of bad shit in their time, and they get a second chance and they turn into like a bit of a better person. But we're not letting that happen. And that to me is so weird within the community of games. And there seems to be people out there who are bothered that this game gets a 10 out of 10 because
I wish those people would channel this much effort into things that can help this world. Like I've said this before, like the amount of people who have a go at other people for their politics.
Completely.
But do it on social media, but then they sit at home quietly doing fuck all. Like, I wish those people channeled it into the real world, because we could make the world a better place if that much effort was expended into the real. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, because you blow off steam however you want to.
Yeah.
But I'm not being funny. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm at the point where I mute a person a day on Twitter. That is the best thing they've ever done on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah, but that's like, that is what it is. But the thing, like, there's so many moments with this game that are so important to me personally, like that I hold up there. Even small things like the developer releasing a video, looking at the review scores and getting emotional over it. I think that is God of War. That is part of this video game. That is the reason it is there, because we love it, and it's a positive outlook into an art that we all adore. And if you're going to be out there just shitting on it, just writing your bit and just bashing this game for reasons that I'm just like, oh, okay, maybe, but can you not just look at what's now been changed for your benefit, I suppose? And
can I, honestly, like, this is genuine, no, joking aside, do you know the honest answer and solution to this?
Mm-hmm.
Take a break from Twitter. And I know that's like a real massive cop-out, because why should you? But I do it now and again. I just disappear. I don't make a big song and dance. I just disappear for 3 to 4 weeks from Twitter, and that stuff just disappears. And then you're out in the real world and you see that it is vastly different.
Yeah.
And in some ways worse, in some ways better. But I honestly find that when that stuff gets to me that much, to the point where it's making me pissed off, I just delete that app and get it off my computer, off my phone, off my tablet, and I just like go, you know what? Nah. And that's... And I think it's healthy.
I do completely agree, and like all that. But when I first came on this podcast, I remember saying to you, Adam, I was like, I cannot wait to get on there and just talk about games, just talk about video games, and just how great they are. And that's just what it is. When I go on like the likes of the socials and stuff, I want to just share that on it and like see people sharing that, and then you just know that right now in the world, everyone, and there is a higher percentage of people right now in the world who are loving this game and stuff. But I have seen people who are just, it's like, no, you can't have fun. You can't enjoy this. This is why. And I'm just, they need to stop and go away, because God of War, like when it finished, it's made me interested in the history that is within that game. It has made me so intrigued, more than anything else that I've ever watched or read about. I'm like so wanting to know more about every one of these characters. And like like when I finish this podcast, I'm going down to like my local bookstore to pick up like this book about the history of it all, because that is what this game has done. It has small issues, but fucking hell, like when you finish the game, Gary, like the next 2 or 3 days are just going to be such a journey in your brain, because you're just going to think about the moments, because it's very hard, like when you're playing it, and this happens with every game for me really, when a game is so good and it finishes, you sit there and you kind of go, yeah, that was a good game, because it's very similar to when I was discussing Far Cry. Remember how that ended, and I ran into my girlfriend to tell her?
Yeah.
Like, this was, once again, part 2 of that with God of War, and I ran back in, and I was just like, I just finished God of War, and she was like, oh, and I was like, I don't know what to say. I just love games. And that is all I could say to her. I just love games. And she was like, oh, at least it's not like Far Cry then. I was like, it's just not. It's just fucking not.
I feel like there's like a video series in this. So just every time you finish a game, you just pop up it.
Well, it's hard because I'm in such a different time zone, so I'm texting you lot back home. I'm like, oh, they're all fucking asleep.
You're not going to get an answer.
I'm like, they're asleep and I need an answer right now. But, like, in short, look, we will go into more detail about why this game is special down the line, whether it's a spoiler cast or a Game of the Year cast, but I fucking love God of War. I fucking love it. It is just brilliant.
So you love games, you love God of War. Do you love Battle Royale games?
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, I haven't gone near one, but, well done.
Well, you can, because H1Z1, the game that weirdly we got review codes for on PC, and then by the time we were ready to review it, it had gone free to play, is also going free to play on PS4. So H1Z1 open beta begins May the 22nd. So the question I have, that I am frantically going through our news story to find, is it going to have the car thing in Gaz?
Yeah, I've not been able to find that out myself. That was the first question I had, and I was like...
Yeah, that's kind of all I want to know.
Because that was like when it released. Because I don't know, because with the open beta, I don't know whether it's technically like it's early access. I don't know.
Right.
But when it released, that was still a beta, wasn't it? The Auto Royale. So I don't know.
But if they, because everyone's playing Fortnite, right, on PS4. Everyone loves Fortnite. Everyone's playing PUBG and Fortnite on Xbox One. Yep. If they put the Auto Royale mode out, they've got a little niche there they could maybe eke out, can't they? Whereas if they're just going up against the others, good luck.
The only other thing it's got in its favour at the minute is PS4 doesn't have PUBG. And this is...
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
it's got Fortnite, though.
I know, but I suppose this is the closest you can get to PUBG's kind of realism, if you know what I mean. Like, its style.
Is it a bit too late, though? Because I just feel, for somebody who doesn't even play PUBG or Fortnite just seems to be, that's it. That's the one. That's what you play. Like...
Yeah, I mean, well, you got that. What's that Cliffy B one? Royale...
Oh, God, I can't remember what it's called.
Cheese Royale with cheese or something?
I can't remember.
I don't know. I just feel like if they put I would... Listen, if I'm them, I'd actually double down on it, and I'd make that my focus. The way that Fortnite transitioned from Save the World to Battle Royale, I would 100% make Auto Royale I'd double down on it, because I think you're not going to win against PUBG, you're not going to win against Fortnite, but you can, and they already have something a bit different. I mean, maybe they will. We genuinely don't know, do we? That's the thing.
But look, I'm with you on that one. If they release it with Auto Royale, that they can market it with that. Like, you can't play this anywhere else, you know.
I'm
telling you right now, we will play that on camera. Like, we will get a team together to play that on PS4.
I can actually play this. I can actually play this game.
You can.
I mean, not with us because of the time zone, but yeah, you can play it.
Oh, thanks.
Alone. Speaking of playing alone, speaking of player alone, or do I mean speaking of player unknowns?
Adam, not your best.
But you went from a really good segue to...
But, like, in my defence, that came together as I was sort of slurring playing alone, so, like, just then. So, this was a weird thing, because I was having a look... I was just, again, in a state of tiredness, I just fancy something... I've got all these games I haven't played, there's part of me thinking, should I just have a playthrough of Bioshock 2? I haven't played that, stuff like that. I was just going down the old Xbox list, and I thought, have I got anything I could install? And I went and installed all the Dead Space games, even the Xbox Live Arcade one, and, nice. And I thought, I'll get them on the old hard drive and never find time to play them, but it's nice that I can if I want to. Anyway... In the midst of all that, in the midst of playing Black for the first time, the Xbox original Xbox game that there's a video on the channel now you can go watch. In the midst of all that, I see PUBG's ready to install, and I think, hang on a minute, I already have PUBG installed. What have the kids been doing? Then I notice a little logo, and it says PTS, Public Test Server. Huh? I think. So I asked our friendly news editor, Mikhail Madnadny, and it turns out that he knew, and so did Gary, because he wrote about it. They've put a public test server on the Xbox One, which has got Miramar on it.
Although I do find that a bit... it seems weird to have a public test server for a game that's already in early access.
Early access.
But I mean, I guess I kind of see, because it's like this is just a small bit that they're testing ahead of the main release. The way the PC version has a test server.
But wait, aren't they testing the whole game before?
Yeah, they are. But I suppose it's this.
I'm playing devil's advocate, Gary. I apologise.
But I suppose it is, because it's like you've got your main game, which it's already a little bit iffy anyway, because it's not there yet. I suppose
I have not played that Xbox One version in. When did it come out? Last year?
December, yeah.
I'm not sure I've played it in 3 months, 4 months.
I've not played it for. I keep thinking I want to go back and play it, and I believe like today, as we're recording this, is the last day for this test server. So I might, after we've finished recording, just go and try and have a look, see what it's like. I mean, I've already played. Yeah, I've already played that map on PC, and I seem to be in the minority and thinking it's a really good map. But it'd be like nice to see if it's different in any way on the Xbox, or just see what it's like in general. If I have time.
Well, speaking of seeing what things are like, Nintendo have announced a new smartphone game. This is literally something I've seen just before recording. It's called Dragalia Lost. Anyone heard of this? It looks like a. Well, it's basically an RPG, co-developed by CY Games or Psy Games. There's a trailer for it, and it kind of looks like most Square Enix RPGs.
Okay.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, don't know much about it. The trailer's all in Japanese, but I thought it was interesting, worth mentioning, that it looks like you're putting out a full RPG on the smartphone, and Dragalia Lost.
That is interesting, because I do think it's the right step forward, even for Nintendo, if it's going to be on your phone, because I think, I don't know anyone who's really playing Super Mario Run. I know there's still people playing Animal Crossing, but I feel that this is one now that, 'cause I wouldn't put as much time into things like Animal Crossing and Super Mario Run, but I would play this. Like a full...
But it's like a new IP for Nintendo on smartphones. Pretty cool.
It could be cool. It'd probably be like there'll be so many microtransactions, obviously, but we'll see. It's definitely, out of everything that Nintendo could bring out now, considering they're still so early into mobile games, this is an interesting release for them. So they must be pretty confident, because they could put out a Metroid fucking thing if they wanted, or
they could release that 3DS game on phones.
They could have done Golden Sun.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
Well, let's stick with Nintendo, because Labo's out. Say none of us have played it, but this is a story from DualShockers.com. Nintendo Labo sold only 30% of the initial shipment in Japan. It didn't push any Switch sales. So following the top 20 revealed on Wednesday, Media Create followed up today with its weekly analysis. Some interesting information about Nintendo Labo. Again, this comes courtesy of DualShockers.com. The new set of educational accessories had a pretty good launch, ranking first and third, with the Variety Kit obviously selling 90,000 odd and the Robot 28,000. But basically, it only sold 30% of the initial shipment for both kits, which is a low for a first-party release.
Are you shocked?
Am I dual shocked?
Oh.
No, I think Nintendo are, because this again, the story on DualShockers.com says it appears Nintendo either expected to sell a lot more, or they just overshipped to cover the following weeks without further shipment. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were overconfident a bit. Maybe they figured out our first party stuff. But it's a real niche. It's a niche product. Yeah. I mean, certainly Twitter seems to show that a lot of people in the games media are buying it, but it does seem to me a niche product.
There are kind of two things about it that I think it's almost confused, because it's almost like this would be a Wii game. During the Wii era, you had these kind of experimental things, and the second part is maybe once Christmas hits, you'd get more sales. I think maybe it's released too early.
Well, there's that, but I also think God of War is a part of this. I think a lot of people are still playing that. Also, this product, I just don't think... I think there's a high percentage of Twitch players who will not go near it. they're not going to, like, even though they could be Nintendo fans, they could stream Nintendo games, they're just going to be like, I don't see any benefit of me playing Labo. I don't see I can get amazing at this and show off my skills online. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a big part of that as well, where they're like, oh, I'm not going to focus my time on Labo. Maybe. I think Christmas is going to say a lot for it, but if Labo doesn't take off at Christmas, I think that's going to be it, really. I don't know what else they're going to do. Not to be so negative on a game it's just after coming out, but you know.
Well, I mean, there's been some negativity around this final game that we're going to talk about in the news. We've saved the biggest till last, I suppose. Shadow of the Tomb Raider has been officially revealed. I thought, yeah. I mean, I thought it already had. But when I say that, what I actually mean is revealed to the press, not us, by the way. We weren't invited. No idea why, but who cares? So, where to start? Like, there's been mixed previews.
It wasn't a reveal. That's all I'm going.
No,
with
it was a bad trailer. Like I don't often say this. I think it was a bad trailer. I thought it was a trailer for Apocalypse Now. Yeah. It reminded me of Apocalypse Now.
Was like,
it really did.
You're gonna show us. I knew there'd be some kind of a CG trailer because that was what the snippets of were. You know, in that initial reveal. But when you say full reveal 27th of April. And all you do is give us a CG trailer and a few screenshots when other people have fucking played it. I don't get it.
Well, apparently they're saving gameplay for E3.
It's like, why didn't they just save the reveal? Why they could have?
Because it's out this year. Because they need to be. I will say I think this is an incredibly difficult game to hype because I think people like myself who loved the reboots, both of them. The second one was so good. I feel like I don't care. Anything they reveal, I couldn't give a shit about. I'll be playing it anyway.
I'm exactly the same.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing they could do that would make me any more or less excited to play it. It's just I'm going to play it. Yeah. And I feel like the people who haven't played the previous two, there's nothing they can really do that's going to change their minds. So I think this game's not going to sell incredibly well. I think it will sell exactly how many it's sold before. I also think they probably didn't bank on God of War because God of War is this kind of game. It is this kind of game, and I think people who preview it now, I think a lot of the negativity is because I think a lot of them will have played God of War, be playing this and being like, yeah, this is very good, but it kind of needs to be more. Because as I say, people who are diminishing the 10 out of 10s, I think are mistaking it because I think that has, in the way that Breath of the Wild did it, this God of War set a benchmark for this kind of game. Mm-hmm. And whether you follow the template or are slightly, they're not the same games, but they're in the same ballpark. I don't know. I just think this is a really hard game to sell to people because on top of all that, you've got the fact that they've got all these really expensive editions of the game. And like, the other thing I was going to ask you guys is when did collector's editions become a thing again? Like, I remember a while ago, people were like, I don't want any more making my house look messy. And now, like, it seems that every other game's got like a big statue. Like this one, the Ultimate Edition for this. Go on.
I think it's collector's editions have always been there, but I think they've just become so the same. Every collector's edition
it's like a statue. This comes with a statue, right?
And an art book and a torch.
An art book, a torch, and a bottle opener that's a pickaxe.
For fuck's sake. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just fucking, like, I don't need that.
I almost long for the days when Call of Duty put out RC cars and night vision goggles. Like, because at least they thought about it.
Well,
yeah.
Although you say that, Mass Effect Andromeda had that.
I mean, I say that, but I don't really mean it. I don't really want that. I don't want any of this stuff. Like, I only time I get a collector's edition is so I've got the God of War one because it has to be a game that I genuinely feel is special. So I've got the God of War one. I've got the Overwatch one.
Yeah.
And
weren't we sent
is it? I think
we were sent the Nier Automata one, weren't we?
Yes, sorry, and that one is one I would have got anyway. So that's 3 games in 3 years. It has to be, for me to have one of those in my house, it has to be something special. Yeah. And I think those 3 games are. Like, I think Tomb Raider will be a fine game, but I don't need a statue or a bottle opener or a flashlight. But I mean, that's my choice. Yeah. I don't have to buy it, and I won't.
I am worried, though, about this Tomb Raider. Because it's like...
Yeah?
They seem to have basically just turned her into a psychopath.
Yeah.
You know,
They've kind of turned her into Kratos.
But do you think they'll have like an L3R3 to rage?
Oh, if
for
they
Lara?
did, no.
Jesus.
Lara
Where
just
do
suddenly
they
starts
go,
wailing
though?
on every
Like,
fucker.
So the thing is, this is supposedly like the final of the trilogy in the kind of reboot of her character,
like she
and then they'll make
Raider.
more. Yeah, but like, do you not feel like it's maybe that the whole idea is maybe one game too long?
Yeah.
Do you feel she should be there now, and this should be just like, okay, a bit like, she's like, okay, well, we got Drake, we understand how Uncharted is. Yeah. This is a new Drake game. Like, do you not feel like the third in a trilogy of setting up her as the Tomb Raider in a series called Tomb Raider?
Yeah, the weird thing, I had this problem with Rise as well, is that it kind of did exactly the same thing as the reboot. It was, she's fighting against the odds again. She's...
How much more refined can the gameplay be in this? That's my question to you, Gary.
I don't think there's a lot more they could do. It's almost like we're going back to the original PlayStation games. Because then, after, like, the third game, I think it was, onwards, it was basically the same thing, just it's like they added an extra move that she could do. And it's like, I don't know how much further you can go, but I worry that maybe this is a game too far, and people are just going to be like, okay, let's we want to reboot it again. It just seems like people didn't want more action. People wanted more tomb raiding. They wanted more like if you want to say that she is becoming the Tomb Raider, give it, make her more solitary. You put her in tombs, don't make her then go apocalypse
they are
now.
Better. Apparently the tombs are better.
I hope so. I mean,
I love the tombs in Rise. I love them.
Apparently they're even better.
Because like the first game had some good ones, but they were very small. And then the the reboot, I should say, and then Rise came along and expanded upon that sort of. They give you more of them. They were bigger. They were better puzzles, that kind of thing. So from that they could make them even better. I just worry that it's like there's going to be too much combat when it's the thing that people least wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I think my biggest worry maybe for this is the 48 hours early access. Simply because we will probably get a code, but not every one of us on the team is getting that code. Do you know what I mean? So, like, for someone
this
like
game,
me,
it'd probably be one person getting a code for this game.
Exactly. So it'd be one person for the code, right? That's just the way it is majority of the time. But like, say, like I'm pressured into kind of going, should I get this 2 days beforehand? Because there will be somebody who will finish this game and have the whole thing on YouTube. Like, it will just, there'll be spoilers everywhere. No, it's not like they're probably going to be the most grown thing, but what if this game is actually the best Tomb Raider game and all of a sudden there's shit being spoiled for us? Like, it may be a mess now, but this is like the God of War thing again, as I was saying. We did not expect God of War to be that good. Now, it's a bit different with this because we've had 2 new Tomb Raider games, but do you know, what if Shadow is amazing and then all of a sudden it is spoiled and I didn't go ahead and get it that 2 days beforehand? That sucks, and that kind of perk within games needs to go away. I hate the early access stuff. I just feel it's like, if you've loads of money, then you can get this. It's like, people can't afford your fucking early access stuff. People are just like trading in games, they're saving up to get it on day one. Don't be doing that because it's not fair and it makes people get the risk of it spoiling. So I hope that doesn't happen. And that's my biggest, like, the build up towards it is an absolute mess. It is. It's all over the place, and I think everyone knows that. But I am so up for this game because I love this style of game and I love Rise.
Yeah.
And the first one. But hopefully, like, better Tombs, it's good so far. But the promoting of it is a fucking car crash.
I should say, before we finish up news, there is something I did forget to mention. The Detroit demo's out. Has anyone played it?
No.
It's out on PS4.
No interest in it.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like Quantic Dream's games, and I really like the demo of this. I think this could be something pretty special. Yeah, it's really cool. The only issue I would say, and this is a demo, you can just go play it. It's on PS4. It's only about half an hour long, but it's got multiple replayable. You can play through it lots of times to get different scenes. The only thing I would say is they've got obviously the camera on the right stick as is normal, but they've also got the interact on the right stick, and I think they might need to have a look at that. Yeah, and because the camera sometimes feels so like there's objects on the floor, and you pan down to them, and then you have to flick the stick down to pick it up, and that's a little bit confused. And I feel like part of that might be that they're trying to make you look for stuff.
Yeah,
like it's not supposed to be obvious. There's a fish you can pick up, and the choice is: do you leave it there on the floor?
What a moment!
Do you leave it on the floor or put it back in the fish tank? But it's on the floor, and I nearly missed it because the game's quite pulled in tight, a bit like God of War. And that means you will move the camera around and you will miss things, and it's deliberate, but also it just felt a little bit awkward. But I really like that demo.
Just before we go on from that, right? Like, I'm definitely going to play that demo now because ever since Detroit was announced, it's literally at the bottom of my list. It's like,
really? Okay.
Like, I am not up for it. I don't care. Like, really, like everything I ever saw gameplay wise just looked bland, and I didn't like the character, and you saying right there summed it all up for me about picking up a fish. That is the element of these series of games that I fucking despise.
See,
that is
okay.
That's like, I'll play the demo and I'll see how it is, but do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of, I could accept it in like Fahrenheit and Beyond, which I think Beyond Two Souls is now free on PS Plus as well.
I think it is this month, or the next month, or whenever it is,
like Beyond. I think when I finished Beyond Two Souls, that was when I said I'm done. I'm done with these games. It's not fun. It's slow. It's clunky, and doing things like picking up a fish sounds like utter shit. So, like,
to counteract what you're saying there, I will also say that this game made me feel like a detective that I haven't felt like in a long time. So I'm hoping the game's more of that than fish picking.
Yeah. We'll see.
Now that's a sentence I didn't think I'd ever hear.
What's that? The fish picking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right, listener correspondence time. Chris Hyde at Chris Hyde 83 always gives us a question, always gives us something to discuss. Are there any bit part characters in past games that you would like to see get their own game? Now, I'm gonna get mine in first because I'm worried someone else will take it. I think this might be a little unfair because it's not a bit part character, but I hope that the next Witcher game is about Ciri.
Oh, I'd be all over that.
Adam Cook. Yes, that is what I was going to say.
Geralt's great, but I feel like Ciri's pretty great too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'll also throw in there that I was a bit disappointed with the way they went with Gears of War 4's story. I remember saying this before the game, that I felt like if they weren't going to do this, they should just get rid of Marcus. And I actually think like Marcus Phoenix's stuff is good in Gears 4, but I would have liked to have seen... They went there with... Judgment. Gears of War Judgment. They used the other characters, but I don't think they delivered them. I'd like to see some of the original sort of Gears of War characters get their own games, but better. You know what I mean? Like, good.
Yeah.
That's me. Anyone else?
I'm just going to say straight out the majority of the God of War characters, which I know there's stories. Just the way it is right now, that's kind of where I'm at. And then what you just said as well, Adam, that was my second choice.
Fair.
Gary? I mean, technically he already has had one, but Barry Burton needs his own game. He needs his own Resident Evil game.
Do you ever play as Wesker? Has Wesker ever had a game?
No.
Because it seems mad that he hasn't.
In, like, the Mercenaries mode.
Yeah, but I mean, like, his story from his point of view.
No, that'd be interesting.
Because that'd be quite a cool game. Wouldn't it?
Well, it had potential, at least.
I kind of want to play, I forget his name. I only recently reviewed it, but you know he's like the Hell Demon from Bayonetta, the guy who runs the pub, where you can buy items and stuff from him.
I'm not sure on that one.
Oh man, what's his name? Adam, help me out.
I'm literally at a blank here. I'm going to try and search it up.
When you go into his shop and the enormous guy, and he's like, hey Bayonetta, I kick those demons' asses, like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like, again, mind you, would his game not end up just being DMC? Kind of. No, well, I don't know.
Well, look, if I'm honest, the Resident Evil thing right now, I actually can't actually talk about it because I'm still raging over the lack of Resident Evil 2. And, like, I'm still, after weeks and weeks, I'm still so annoyed, and E3 is its final chance for me. If they don't come out and say something at E3, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm just going to lose.
You'll get really angry, and then when they do announce it, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool, I'll buy it.
If they don't announce anything at E3, then I don't think that game's going to happen.
No, I'm
exactly.
I'm with you on that one.
If they've missed the boat on the anniversary day, what the absolute fuck?
I feel sorry at the moment for the what's the word? The social media manager for like the Resident Evil Twitter. Every single thing, it's always, you know, there's a lot of little questions. You know, what's your favourite part of this, or whatever, and it's always stuff like my favourite part is the Resident Evil 2 remake. You know, and it's just every single answer underneath is that.
They've received at least 15 messages from me. I've just been that guy.
Okay, the other I've got one more question for you this week. Gooseberry Crochet at Miss Flanagan says, are there any games you've played where you absolutely hated the character that you had to play as?
Tidus and Final Fantasy X.
You beat me to it. Yeah.
Yes.
So here's one for you. Sticking with the Final Fantasy thing, okay? Was Squall a bit of a dick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to say Squall was more annoying than Tidus.
Is what he was. He was a moody prick.
There's a lot of annoying characters within Final Fantasy.
What about then? Let's be fair on Final Fantasy and select someone else. What's the guy's name in Prototype? Alex Mercer.
I didn't play enough of that to...
What about Cole McGrath from Infamous?
I didn't mind Cole. I didn't mind Cole.
The second one I didn't play
Delson Rowe then? Delson Rowe. Was he not a dick? I'm sure there was a dick in one of the Infamous games.
Delson Rowe is good.
I
like Delson Rowe as well.
I like Infamous.
No, I love Infamous. I really thought that series never got a fair crack. It got a fair crack. I just really enjoyed it. But, like, I'm sure there was one of the characters that was a douche in that.
I've not played Is it First Light? I've not played that yet. So maybe that's the one. Well, you played.
Was that the third game or the then standalone?
It was the expansion.
Yeah,
standalone.
Second Son was the main game, and the First Light was fine.
Yeah,
I think First Light actually improved on the Second Son. Actually,
interesting. Maybe.
Do you know what character I just don't like, and that's Navi.
Yeah, but you don't play as Navi, do you?
No, but I'm just saying she's fucking pretty much on your case the whole time, all the time. You're pretty much playing her because she wants you to play the way you want.
What about Geralt?
Nah, Geralt's great.
No,
Is it
Geralt's
stretching
alright.
The one I'd choose, and it kind of sounds odd because you make your own, is Ryder in Mass Effect Andromeda. Partly because fuck that game anyway.
So you're saying you're a dick because you basically play your role play.
Whenever all the answers you can give are all shit, and every bit of every fibre of my being basically says that this person is a prick, no matter what choices you make. That game anyway was just bullshit. But
Sonic the Hedgehog
is like obviously when he speaks.
Just Sonic the Hedgehog. Is Mario actually a bit of a dick? When you think about don't
forget all those times that he took credit for saving the kingdom when it was Luigi that did it. You know,
but he never saves the kingdom. He just prolongs it from happening again.
Come on.
No, he could kill Bowser. Right, he beats him enough. He could kill him.
He's the Batman of Mushroom Kingdom.
Right.
Yeah,
he could end it.
Bowser is the Joker.
He could end it and give them all a safety. Because he's even allowed Bowser to breed and have children who he's then made bad guys as well, giving them a bad life. He could stop it all, and he doesn't.
This is a very philosophical discussion.
What about Wario? What's the Wario's game? Not WarioWare, because you kind of don't play as him, but there is a Wario game.
Well, there was
can't remember.
The Shake Dimension or whatever it was on the Wii.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm thinking of the original DS game again. I think Wario something. Tony Hawk. More. Is he all right? Is Tony Hawk all right?
Tony Hawk's grand. He's grand.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I got one.
We're grasping.
The character that you play in Guitar Hero Live, because you don't say a fucking thing and you don't punch every single person that's behind you.
All right, hang on. Every single wrestling game ever.
Yeah.
Hey. Now you're just getting mean.
On that note, I could argue for Link. Number of times.
Listen,
like someone speaks directly to it. Same for Gordon Freeman, all the mute ones, when it's like someone asks them a question and they just fucking ignore them.
Is Link okay? Is Link okay, or is he Because he seems profoundly mute.
But
wait a second. We were having fun with this question.
Link
No,
definitely wasn't mute because I mean you can hear him fucking giving it and all that shit. You know, he's not mute. He's just a prick.
I've got one for you. It's the opposite to what we answered the last question. Is Bayonetta a bit of a dick? I kind of like Bayonetta to me. Like, is all
weird.
about the action.
Yeah.
I kind of can't stand any character in any of the Bayonetta games.
I just wonder why she doesn't just wear clothes instead of using her hair. That's just weird. That's just a silly decision in my book.
Bayonetta looks like she's just kind of been told to do something that she doesn't want to do. Like,
is Donkey Kong a dick?
Yes, he is a dick because his games are too hard.
He is a douchebag, isn't he?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, we put that one to bed. Although I feel like we could go away for a week and have a think and come back with some more. I mean, Innie Rabbids game. Well, that's harsh, I think.
Why?
I just don't, because I think you're role playing yourself, aren't you? That's the thing.
You have to
play him as a dick. Well, that's also true. Yeah, but you poo-pooed Infamous. Right. I think we should move on. That is it for this week on the God is a Geek podcast. You can follow Gary at BlueFury47 on Twitter, Adam at AdamZoax, that's ZOAX on Twitter. I'm Jeebus F, of course, at God is a Geek. Make sure you type God is a Geek into your preferred social media and give us a follow. But most importantly, if you like this, if you're not a Patreon, you'll have missed about 30 minutes of Marvel chat. My journey will continue. Hopefully I will watch Civil Wars soon, Gary. That is easy for you to get. For $1 a month, you'll get the premium version of this podcast, usually 2 days early. It will usually be 20 minutes longer. I think it's going to be longer than that this week. But that's patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. You can download the Patreon app on iPhone and you can listen to the podcasts there. There's also, once you're a member, there's an RSS feed you can add to your podcast app. So you won't even need to worry. It will automatically download whenever we put the premium version live. And of course, you get extra videos, exclusive content, loads of stuff, a private Discord channel, stuff to chat to us there. It's well worth, we think, $1 a month, and it goes directly to us to fund things like equipment for podcasts, cameras for doing live streams, Gary, stuff like that. Right? Yeah. You should get to see Gary's, I'm not going to lie, attractive face. I was quite taken aback when I first saw Gary, because I've only ever seen his Twitter profile picture.
See that? Adam Cook likes Gary's.
You heard my voice and we're like, this guy's going to be a fucking butterface.
Just a real miserable bastard. And then I see this face and I was like, oh, model quality, I see.
Adam Cook, liking Gary's face and Deadpool's arse. There you have it.
Yeah, but see, they don't. That's a secret for the Patreon bit about Deadpool's arse. But if that's not a teaser to make you go and pay $1, I don't know what is or isn't. I forget. But listen. You can also go to iTunes or whichever podcast app you choose and do subscribe to us. Do leave those reviews. They help immensely. They do really get us up the charts. If people see us, you share. Don't keep us your little secret. Share us with everyone you can. Thank you, boys, for being here this week. Sorry, not boys. It's not God of War. Thank you, men. Thank you, my own personal Avengers, for being here. Who would you two be if you? Oh, who would you be if you were Avengers? Adam
Spider-Man.
would be. Okay. Well, I was going to give you Thor, but you can take Spider-Man. That's fine. I was going to give you Thor.
I was just being kind.
No, Adam can be Thor. Gary, do I go for the joke or do I go for the nice? Let's do both. The joke was going to be Ant-Man, and the nice was going to be. Who would Gary be? Who would Gary be in the Avengers? I think he's kind of misunderstood, and is actually a really nice guy. But I think. He's misunderstood. I was going to say Captain America. I think he's misunderstood.
I'm happy with that. I think I'd be closer to Captain America because Hulk's very or rather Banner's very intelligent, and that's not me. So
no, that's right. It's not. So thank you very much for being here, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure as always.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we will catch you next time or whenever you choose to listen. Goodbye for now.